Yo, fam, let's rewind to the 1700s. Great Britain was ballin'. It was like the Beyoncé of empires, ruling over a quarter of the globe. Among its prized possessions, the American colonies. These colonies were like the cool younger sibling, full of potential and ready to break free. They were bumping with resources, timber, tobacco, you name it. The Brits saw the colonies as a cash cow, a way to fund their lavish lifestyle and global domination. They imposed taxes and regulations, thinking they were in charge. But the colonists weren't having it. They were like, hold up, we ain't no side chicks. We deserve a say in how we're governed. This difference in perspective, this fundamental clash of ideologies, planted the seeds for a revolution. The Brits thought they were calling the shots, but the colonists were about to drop the mic and declare their independence. The relationship between Britain and the colonies was strained, like that one uncle who always shows up uninvited to family gatherings. The colonies were growing restless, yearning for the freedom to chart their own course. Little did they know, a storm was brewing, one that would forever alter the course of history. Okay, so why were the colonists so mad? Imagine being told what to do all the time, having your tea taxed, and not even getting a vote in Parliament. That's what the colonists were dealing with, and frankly, it was messed up. The Brits imposed taxes like the Stamp Act, which meant colonists had to pay a tax on every piece of paper they used. It was like taxing memes. Then came the Tea Act, which gave the British East India Company a monopoly on tea trade. Basically, the colonists were being taxed without representation. Not cool, Britain. This wasn't just about money, though. It was about freedom and autonomy. The colonists, many of whom had fled persecution in Europe, yearned for a government that represented their interests. They believed in self-governance, in the right to determine their own destiny. The Brits, blinded by their imperial arrogance, failed to grasp the depth of colonial resentment. They underestimated the colonists' resolve, their unwavering belief in liberty. This miscalculation would prove to be their undoing. Fast forward to 1775. Tensions were high. The pot was boiling over. Then came the boiling point. The battles of Lexington and Concord. The Brits thought they could disarm the colonists. Big mistake. The colonists fought back, and the revolution officially kicked off. The Declaration of Independence in 1776 was like the ultimate breakup text. Thomas Jefferson, the ultimate wordsmith, penned this masterpiece. It declared that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mic drop. Then came the hard part, actually winning the war. The colonists, led by General George Washington, were outnumbered and outgunned, but they were scrappy, determined, and had home court advantage. Plus, they had the support of France, who was like that friend who always has your back in a fight. The Battle of Saratoga was a turning point. The colonists won a decisive victory, convincing France to officially join the war against Britain. With France's help, the colonists trapped the British army at Yorktown in 1781. Game over, Britain surrendered, and the United States of America was born. The American Revolution wasn't just a local affair. It was a global sensation, like the Super Bowl of revolutions. People around the world were inspired by the colonists' fight for freedom. It was like, if they can do it, why can't we? For America, the victory was huge. They had their independence, a new government based on democracy, and a whole lot of land to explore. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The newly formed nation faced internal divisions, economic challenges, and the daunting task of building a government from scratch. For Britain, the loss was a major blow to their ego and their empire. They lost their most valuable colonies, a ton of money, and their reputation as an unbeatable superpower. It was like that moment when you realize you're not as cool as you thought you were. The American Revolution sent shockwaves across the globe, challenging the established order and inspiring movements for independence and reform. It marked the rise of a new power on the world stage, a nation founded on the ideals of liberty, equality, and self-governance. Losing America was a tough pill to swallow for the Brits. But like a true champ, they dusted themselves off and re-evaluated their game plan. They realized that clinging to their old ways wouldn't fly. They needed a new strategy, a new approach to empire. Instead of trying to control colonies through brute force and unfair taxes, they shifted their focus. They started emphasizing trade and collaboration, recognizing that a more cooperative approach could be mutually beneficial. They turned their attention to other parts of their empire, particularly India, which became their new crown jewel. They invested in their navy, becoming the undisputed rulers of the waves. They also abolished slavery in their colonies in 1833, a major step towards social justice. The American Revolution forced Britain to rethink its relationship with its colonies. The old model of exploitation and control was clearly outdated. They needed a new approach, one that recognized the growing aspirations of colonized people. This led to the gradual evolution of the British Empire into the Commonwealth of Nations. It was like going from a controlling parent to a more supportive, albeit slightly awkward, relative. The Commonwealth was based on shared values, mutual respect, and cooperation. It provided a platform for former colonies to engage with each other and with Britain on an equal footing. It wasn't a perfect system, but it represented a significant shift from the old imperial mindset. The American Revolution was a watershed moment in world history. It wasn't just about America gaining independence, it was about the very idea of self-determination, of people's right to govern themselves. It inspired revolutions and independence movements around the world, from Latin America to Africa to Asia. It showed that empires weren't invincible, that even the mightiest powers could be challenged and defeated. For Britain, the loss of America was a turning point. It forced them to adapt, to evolve, and to rethink their role in the world. It led to the development of a more just and equitable relationship with their remaining colonies, paving the way for the Commonwealth. The American Revolution's legacy is complex and multifaceted. It's a story of rebellion, of freedom, of the enduring human desire for liberty and self-governance. It's a reminder that even the most powerful empires can crumble when they fail to heed the voices of those they govern.